Red just premiered in the US and possibly some other areas. I know it's in the US now and in other areas. I actually just went to go see it today, and I'm probably going to do a review of it on the channel here sometime in the near future, so keep an eye out for that. Ooh, they're doing a lot of promo for Film Red. And let me just say, I definitely enjoyed the movie. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I especially enjoyed the soundtrack. Like, I'm actually going to have a lot of those songs on a playlist very soon because I really liked all that music. This looks fantastic. I'm looking to see if there's any solid comparison. I don't see anything special off the bat just by looking around at it. It's pretty much got a fine split between Shanks and his crew, Luffy and his crew. And I don't see much correlation. But I do love it. That's clean. Alright, let's jump into the chapter. Lab Stratum Egghead, the island of the future. The way I see it, when it comes to a government island, this is Zoro talking, you gotta think about who's gonna be around to bail them out if they get caught. I was thinking the same thing. Would you care for some tea? Excuse me, sirs? You're still here? Start talking to Caribou now. Hang on, just give me a moment of your time. I know our deal was to drop me off anywhere away from Wano, but I didn't think we'd be heading for a government island. I heard you helped our captain out. Appreciate it. See you around. These jerks all remember this. So they cut a deal with Caribou to take him off Wano because he technically helped Luffy and I guess technically Kawamatsu and everyone else escape Udon. Interesting. They're at the lab now. The stairs are moving. New steps are sprouting out of the ground. What kind of setup is this? Is that just an escalator? You could say the whole island runs on fire. After all, you can convert its power into any kind of energy. Doesn't that burn through a load of natural resources? I'm always looking into alternative fuels. If only there was such a thing as eternal flame. Eternal flame, Lunarian. The eternal Lunarian flame, that would be interesting. Then I'd be able to make my very own sun. A sun? What the? Going right through the wall. Lilith. Hey, open up, Lilith-chan. Stop dilly-dallying and walk through. Stop dilly-dallying and walk through. You should never let your own senses dupe you. What is it, Edison? Oh, so it's just a hollow wall. Not you poking his head through. We passed through too. No way, it turned back to solid metal again. Huh. So not exactly a hollow wall, but you can just walk through when you get close to it. That's interesting. This is the lab. Where did Lilith-chan go? Hey! Y'all can keep going dead ahead. Who's that? Speaks in Hibikan's accent. I'm Vegapunk Edison. Howdy. Now just keep walking like I said. Let's look for some future treasure. Future treasure like what? Like a flower made entirely of exquisite antique gems. That's a weird fantasy. I can't tell if your taste got closer to a little girl or an old hag. Future kick? Nah, I'm in the background just kicking Usopp. Huh? Hey, what are you doing down here? Jinbei? It's Jinbei Lunarian. Or a Jinbei Seraphim. 98%. So they are making one from each warlord. So they have Boa, they have Boa and Hancock. They have Boa, they have Mihawk, and obviously they have Kuma. Now they have Jinbei. I don't think that's him. Doesn't he look a little too young? Well, my first guess would be he's his son. Yeah, but on second thought, maybe Jinbei was turned somehow into a kid. Now, I'm going to go with option 3. It's a coincidence. I mean, the kid's got wings, although there's an ominous air about him. Out with it. Who the heck are you? He may look like Kid, but he's just as big as the real Jinbei. Huh. I've got a bad feeling. There's a fourth possibility. It's a pacifista. Frankie catches on quick. And it's either, I can't tell if it's probably the laser giving it away. I can't tell if he knows that before or after, but I would imagine of all people, Frankie should be able to get that. Yeah, this was all one giant trap. We should have known the government was never going to roll out the red carpet. Does that mean they're using a clone of Jinbei as a soldier? Is that Nami? Is Nami getting ready to square up already? Because it looks like the climate attacked. Yeah, it is. Hey, that's clean. Gee, ready to throw hands. Really don't want to fight him. Beat beat. Dive. Huh? Did it just dive into the ground? Huh? He's got fruit powers. Is that like Senior Pink's powers? What's going on? Did I pop out to help Nami? Not yet, Zeus. Hey, I know that ability. That's Senior Pink's devil fruit. Kia, Nami. Jinbei. That's it. You just signed your own death warrant. Yep, there goes Sanji. I don't give a crap whether you're Jinbei or not. Kicks him in the face. Yeah, Sanji was never going to let that slide. Gigante Fleur. What he said? Oh, Robin's really mad. Jeez. That was unforgivable. Sea Serpent. I mean, I love the crew getting ready to fight, but they squared up instantly. I don't normally see that from Robin, but I like it. Snapdragon Spank. And he's using... Is he about to do what Arlong... So way back then, Arlong would just pick up a handful of water and throw it at people. And that was one of his ways of fighting. And I mean, Jinbei did it too, in a more refined way, like you saw a lot in Fishman Island, but this right here reminds me of when Arlong did it. Get out there, Robin. So you can use Fishman Karate too. But he's using like the water of the swim fruit, which isn't technically water. Like it's whatever you're swimming through. He's using that and throwing that. I didn't think that was possible. I didn't think you'd like interact with the way it turns into water as if it was water itself. I thought it kind of just applied to the ability. Lethal Green Star. Skull Exploding Grass. I know this isn't Jinbei, but it still feels messed up. He's gone. Hey, he's swimming through everything. Grabs Usopp. Usopp. I've got this, Sanji. Usopp, don't move a muscle. Radical. Watch it, shark. Beam! Oh, I'm guessing that's Edison. Beam goes off. He just used a beam? Who incarnation is this guy? Reckon this is getting real risky. The Seraphim's still just a kid. We ain't meant to put it through a laser test till later. Yep, this is Edison. You said it. Does he have the faintest idea how much one Seraphim costs? I'll rip his blasted skull off. I wouldn't go that far. Don't you think it's a bit too evil? Oh, Eureka. Just drop an invention. I'll leave the rest to you, Pythagoras. They jot down the blueprints right away. Oh, of course. My hands are always so full. At this point, I take help from the cat. So, which one was Edison? Flare. Edison is Flare, Pythagoras is Wisdom. You don't come across battle data this rich every day. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Let's get some input. You jotting down blueprints. Ideas won't stop flowing. York, be a doll and eat something for me. Your thing. Eat something. Ring seconds for Dr. York. Your current BMI is over 600. The Seraphim's attack patterns have continued to develop as it grows. That suggests that one's lineage factor does restore some of our recollections and capabilities. So they weren't expecting it to, or at least they're testing to see if it carries down some of the abilities of the DNA of people it came from. For instance, for Jinbei, they didn't teach it Fishman Karate. It just knows that from its lineage factor. We should try and accelerate their growth, although that presents new obstacles. Green blood concentration has risen and heart rate is up to 90 BPM. I really need the toilet. I'd go myself, but I can't afford to waste time. Flush. Grin. So is York one of the... Is York one of the Vegapunks? I've already forgotten that. Well, I mean, Punk 6. I'm guessing, yes, York is one of the Vegapunks. That hit the spot. Gotta punch something to help me digest his wrath. So sleepy. Dr. York's on today's 4th S snack dump nap cycle. So York is basically the Vegapunk that kind of keeps the nutrient cycle going. So they eat, they sleep, and they poop. That's taken care of for the rest of the Vegapunks. Which is interesting. I would imagine he would program that out of everything. Why would you keep that in? Carry over all the material Dr. Pythagoras needs. Also, Dr. Edison is prepping for another experiment. Get to simulation room 88. I'm Dr. Vegapunk Shaka. You must be the Straw Hat Pirates. This is logic. This is basically the first. And I wonder if this is like the closest to Vegapunk in a way. Because essentially they should all be Vegapunk. They should always be a collection of his contras split into different forms, but still this being the first one has to have some kind of significance to the actual Vegapunk. What else we should do to our shoes? They're stuck to the floor. Dom shoes can be magnetically disabled at any point while in the laboratory. They were saying resistance is futile then. I know better than to let my guard down around pirates. Wait, we've already met 2 Vegapunks, that woman and the other one on the speaker. Yes, but I'm also Vegapunk. Oh yeah, did I forget to mention I'm Vegapunk too? Oops, would you cut it out? Do you think this island looks like the future? It's beyond the future. I mean, just look at those mecha sea beasts. There's also a Vegaforce 1 and the island Aircon 2. This is as futuristic as it gets. I've never seen anything like this place before. What kind of goodies are you making here? I wanted to take a full tour to take it all in. There's no way you and I wouldn't get along. You feel me, Vega-chan? It's actually quite the contrary. This is an island of the past, huh? Check it out, Chopper. You can tell because it's all rusted and stuff. It's real metal, not another hollow thing. Whoa. What the heck, could something like this really move? If it could, how is that level of tech possible? Something so ancient looking. What do you mean my past? Well, what if I were to tell you that long ago there was once a highly advanced kingdom? Not unlike Egghead when it comes to technology. A civilization from 900 years ago. Would you believe me? 900 years ago. I want to write it. Let's go. End of chapter. So he's definitely talking about the ancient civilization that was wiped out by what is now the world government. The one that Dr. Clover was talking about a long time ago back in the O'Hara flashback. The civilization that essentially came at odds with the people that then became the world government. They were wiped out, and I'm assuming this island has to have some remnants of that. Because he's saying it's an island of the past. So while it may not be the exact island in which everything happened, it's related to it in some way. I mean, it might be the exact island where everything happened. I'm not entirely sure. But they had the technology to create giant warriors. And you can see this one is battle worn. Like its horn's broken. It's got damage, got a spear thrust to it that's broken off, thrusted over, so at some point it was fighting, and it most likely lost or took all this damage from the people that are now the world government. Interesting. Not unlike Egghead when it comes to technology. Is it possible that Vegapunk has ties to that ancient civilization? Because we imagine that, well, I mean, everything we've been told is that Vegapunk is an old man. Now, is he old as in Rayleigh old? Is he old as in Dr. Kreha old? Or is he old as in giants old, like hundreds of years old? Does he even age like an average person? Could he just be a conscious from 900 years ago? Could he have existed in the time when the now world government wiped out this island, and he's almost a relic, despite him being like the future 500 years, or having like the technology 500 years in the future? He could be a relic of the past, which I think would be really interesting. What was the world back then? I think we're about to get some lore on ancient history. I'm wondering, so they found this just out, it looks like just out in, the fields with some extra junk lying around. I assume at some point when they meet back up, everything's going to link. But for now, I wonder what Chaka is going to show everybody. I don't think it's going to be the same thing, but I think it's going to be something similar. Are there any? No color spreads quite yet. Man, that's crazy. So, one of the things I find really interesting about this is that the Seraphims almost seems like they're being produced one by one. And this one is labeled, what, 4? Yeah, this is Seraphim 4. So, I assume Kuma, or at least a version of Kuma, was the first Seraphim. And then 2 and 3 would be Mihawk and Boa, 4 being Jinbei. I wonder if they have, it's like, I always wonder how many people do they actually have the DNA of. Like, do they have Moria? Did they bother collecting Moria's DNA to have him? Do they have a Teach? Is it possible that they're going to make a Blackbeard Seraphim? That would be really interesting, especially if it keeps memories and other important factors when they basically remove that DNA. Could having a Teach with like Lunarian DNA essentially create an entirely different kind of monster that they can't control? Because when I think about the Kuma Seraphim, something's happening where they can't control that one. And that means that it's not quite perfected. They might lose control at any time, and I would imagine that if they do a Blackbeard one, that would be their biggest problem child. Okay, I also really want to know what's happening with that swim fruit, because my mind immediately goes to, okay, they ended up killing Senior Pink and taking his fruit. But I know Vegapunk experiments with fruits, and he knows how to apply fruits to different things. Obviously, we see Kizaru's laser in a bunch of stuff, so it wouldn't be surprising if he took the fruit from Senior Pink without necessarily killing them, but basically has the application of the fruit, and he's giving it to Jinbei. But also, I just thought about this. Jinbei having the swim fruit is crazy because he now has a source of water anywhere. And we always talk about Jinbei underwater is a different kind of beast. Now he's just permanently underwater, even when there's no water there. That's crazy. But yes, that was a good chapter. It looks like we're really on our way to get a big lore dump. We've kind of done some exposition, met some new characters. I think we've seen all the Vegapunks now, so it's time for lore. And I'm excited for that. Let me know what you guys thought down below, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.